Welcome to the first section. Build a suitable Azure Active Directory and a secure Windows 10 workplace. In this section, we will build a cloud-only scenario, perfect working for smaller companies or startups to get in touch with Azure AD and its capabilities. We start from scratch and you will learn to manage users, groups, and administrative units with a graphical user interface and PowerShell. Next, you will control application access and license assignments based on users, groups, and multi-factor authentication to provide a working conditional access scenario. Finally, you will configure password reset service and a Microsoft Intune use case to securely manage Windows 10 and help users to get access to their client system. With this video, we start our journey to discover Azure Active Directory. Let me short describe the use case we will work on during this video. You will create a suitable Azure Active Directory with a service-oriented starting point. You will enable Office 365, the Enterprise Mobility Suite plus Security, and your Azure subscription. Next, you will test the Azure AD with GUI and PowerShell and join a Windows 10 client into Azure Active Directory for single sign-on. To work on this use case, you need a Windows 10 virtual or physical client with an internet connection. Additionally, you need to provide a credit card to subscribe to the Azure trial subscription, just to verify your identity. The card will not be charged. Let me provide a short summary of the tasks before we jump into the configuration steps. First, we will create an Office 365 E5 trial. With this, our Azure AD will also be created in the background. Second, we add an EMS E5 trial to get the Azure AD Premium and Intune features. For sure, in the project, you will discover which license needs you exactly have. If you need further information, I can also refer to my book, Mastering Identity and Access Management with Microsoft Azure. At least, we will add an Azure subscription to get access for the infrastructure as a service part for the hybrid use cases. So let's go. First, we will create an Office 365 trial subscription. We always recommend to use an on-Microsoft account to create your subscription, to be independent from any personal or existing business account. Be sure that you remember this account and try to secure it as much as possible. After a while, you are logged into portal office.com and you can access your new created Office 365 trial and your Azure Active Directory. Be sure that you're not logged in with any other account in the actual browser session. Obviously, you can start in different ways. We use the fastest and most practical way to provide the whole cloud environment for this course. Don't close the browser and don't log off the new created admin. We will use it through the next configurations. Next, we will assign an EMS E5 trial to the new in background created Azure Active Directory and the logged in administrative user. Be sure that you click Yes, Add to My Account. As you can see, the trial works for 250 users and 90 days. Now that we created our Azure Active Directory with the services Office 365 and the Enterprise Mobility Suite, we need to finish the Azure AD and Workplace setup. For this, we will create an Azure subscription to get the full management capabilities and Azure resources credits for 90 days. For this process, Microsoft requires you to prove your identity by phone and credit card. Remember that you can only subscribe to one Azure free trial. So if you already run an existing Azure subscription, you can also use the associated Azure Active Directory and add Office 365 and EMS. After a while, you will be logged in to portal azure.com and we can verify our admin user in the created Azure Active Directory. If you click to the admin user and view the directory role, you will see that the user is a global administrator. We also hold other roles we discuss later in this course. Personally, I always rename the display name to Tenant Administrator and create new named administrators and assign the global administrator role. This helps you to activate multi-factor authentication to protect the global administrator accounts. Let me provide a short summary of the tasks to install the management tools. First, we install Azure AD PowerShell version 1, then Azure AD PowerShell version 2. We install both to see the different capabilities in this and the next videos. Finally, we install the Azure PowerShell that we are able to administer our Azure resources in special in our hybrid use cases in the next sections. Now we install the administrative toolset to test the access to Azure Active Directory and do the first administrative tasks. The Microsoft Online Services Sign-in Assistant provides end-user signing capabilities to Microsoft Online Services such as Office 365. The Sign-in Assistant and the Azure PowerShell version 1 are traditional installation packages. To install the Azure AD v2 module, we need to start an administrative PowerShell session. We can use the new installation method directly from PowerShell with the NuGet provider. The installation will be done from the PS gallery. By default, this repository is untrusted by the system. Last but not least, we install the Azure Resource Management module over the same mechanism. Now that we have installed our tools, we connect to the MS Online interface. First, we see the existing users in the directory, and then we create the first user with PowerShell in our Azure Active Directory. Let me provide you a short summary of the tasks. First, we connect to our Azure Active Directory with the Azure AD PowerShell module version 1, as you already have seen. Second, we use the new MSUL user CMDLED to create the new user. Remember, to assign a license, we always need to define the usage location. Now we see the new created user in Azure Active Directory. Next, let's explore the new Azure AD v2 PowerShell to manage Azure AD. In video 1.3, you will see more of these capabilities. Next, we will prove the new created user on portalazure.com, and we will see that the assigned role is user. We also see the assigned Office 365 licenses in the portal. And on the PowerShell, we can use the get-msul account SKU to see the assigned licenses in your environment. Next, we will join our Windows 10 client to Azure Active Directory. In my example, I use the admin account. Feel free to use your own user to test the SSO capabilities in this scenario. After the Azure AD join is done, we will open the browser and access the Access panel from Microsoft, myapps.microsoft.com, to test the SSO capabilities. You will see that you will be logged on automatically to this portal. Next, we will click to the mail application to see that the single sign-on is also provided to the connected applications in Azure AD. You see, with all the configuration we have done, we get a very comfortable workplace for the user. In this video, you created a suitable Azure Active Directory, you installed the administrative toolset, and did the first step in administering Azure Active Directory. Finally, you joined your Windows 10 client in Azure Active Directory and explored the single sign-on capabilities. Perfect! You created a solid Azure Active Directory and set up a basic Windows 10 workplace. Next, you will learn to solve the management of users, groups, and administrative units. See you in the next video.